Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Welcome to the inaugural kickoff of the FantasyFootballGeeks.com blog. I'm your host, Ken Thomas. What I want to talk to you about. I'm your host, Kenny Thomas. What I want to talk to you about is fantasy football from my perspective. And I've been a one-time champ in my fantasy football league, but I've been in our playoffs 10 years out of 10 years. So, not that I'm the expert in everything, but I think I have some insight in the game. Been a fan of the game forever, played a little bit, not pro, but back in the day. So hopefully I get some knowledge and some insight for you guys, and you can take it and run with it and, kick butt in your league. So, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with opinions, because that's pretty much what this whole blog is going to be about, is opinions and insight that I have on certain players and on teams and on the game in general that hopefully you can use and agree or disagree, but it's something you can take with you to, make your game better, make your team better. Okay, so I'm going to go down players on this inaugural episode. I want to talk about the moves that happened, because I think if you played this game before, you know a little bit about how fantasy football works. Your idea is to get the best players on your team and score the most every week to beat the other guys. But teams change, players change every year, and every year you got to be a little bit up on what happened, and you got to look at the situation. Take a great player, put him in a bad situation. Sometimes good things happen, most of the times bad things happen. Same thing, vice versa. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in there on a few of the guys that I'm looking at for my team and some of the concerns I have on them. For example, Adrian Peterson. I don't think you can start talking about fantasy football without talking about Adrian Peterson. That's been one of the best players in fantasy since he's been in football. He has won many a championship for teams, but he's also lost many teams championship because he gets hurt, because he does a little extra sometimes when it's not necessary, and because he was on a team that, quite frankly, was not great. So here he is now on a team that is actually great, a team that has a passing game, a great quarterback, and a running game without him, right? So where does he fit in? Is he still going to be the same guy he has been? There's that whole I'm 30 now or I'm over 30 now and I'm not going to be as good as I used to be. There's injury history. There's a whole lot of things wrapped around this guy, and we're going to dig deep and figure out what we feel about this particular guy. So, in my league, one of my leagues, my main league, we do an auction draft where we actually put money in to buy players for our team. And at the high-end running back, the way our cash situation works, maybe around $50 play money, $50, $60, whatever, for a high-level running back, like a normal Adrian Peterson 2 or 3 years ago. Adrian Peterson now, when I look at these magazines and some books and websites, this guy's projected, much lower. So in a league like mine, where most of the guys or ladies read the information, the same information I have, that is good in a sense, because it should depress the prices for this guy, so you can wait and not draft him early. Or and I'll talk about the snake draft in a minute, but if it's an auction draft, you wait for this guy, you don't draft him early, and you try to get him cheap. He, in my opinion, is going to be great, and I'll go into that in a second. But if you can wait until the money is out. As a matter of fact, if it was me, I would, when it's my turn to pick a player, I would pick one of the other top running backs and bid high enough to get money out of people's pockets. So they've already spent money, high level money, on some of the top tier running backs that are, according to the magazines and whatnot. And so that when it comes around, later in the draft where he's still available, even though the magazines may say 20, other people have the same idea you have, so it may go up to 30 or 35 or whatever the number is, but you're still going to get him at a bargain from what you normally would pay for, and that's really what you want to get, a bargain for a player that could really do well. And in this case, that team is going to run the ball more. Their quarterback is getting older. They want to keep him fresh. They do pass. Adrian Peterson is not the greatest at catching the pass, but on this team, I think he will develop some of that. And just when they get to the goal line, that guy is going to get the ball. So those are, touchdown points for you. So having said that, I think everything you see about Adrian Peterson that you used to see, you'll see again. having the time off over the last couple years that he's had off due to injuries, but notoriously a hard trainer and coming back in a new situation, in a situation where he might actually be able to get a ring. No reason why that team couldn't get a ring. I think they all want it. The defense is still a little suspect, but that offense is so great. And honestly, for a fantasy perspective, even if the defense is bad, that just means they got to score more points, which means your guy is out there more often. So I think Adrian Peterson is a guy you want on your team. It's a guy you need on your team. And it's a guy, if you can get him cheap, that's what you want to do. In the snake draft, I don't think you can wait too long because somebody else may have this idea. But unlike a normal draft where he's going in the first round or maybe even the second round, I think he's a guy you pencil in the third round, and if he's still available, you snatch him up, you got a deal. You got a top tier guy, potentially top tier guy, cheap. I would get another one as a backup, but that's a good deal to get cheap. In my opinion, episode 1, come check us out for the rest of the episodes. I think you're going to enjoy it.